Peace to the family. Peace, 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 love and light. Peace, y'all. This light is hella bright. Nah, I gotta get my glasses or something. Oh, here they go. Peace, peace. Whew. Do I have a bill for you today? We gotta talk about Ye. Peace. Peace to the family. Peace, love, and light. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Or hear ye. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Whew. I'm doing amazing. How are you? Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Yes, LeBron did get on the media, right? LeBron did get on the media. We're going to talk about that. Okay, we're going to whip it together and we're going to weave that in. Okay, what's the Cash App? Let's start with that. Because it was requested. I'll just do that as family piles in. Also, today's sponsor is Goldwater. And none of my advertisers are responsible for what's being said. All right. Fumigate the space. Get some of that silver up in here. Right? Because the world just got a reckoning. The world just got a reckoning today. Right? And it's everything that I said already, right? Everything that I just explained a few lives prior to this. Maybe the last live and the one before that about Ye. We saw it all play out, right? Yes, indeed. And today's drip is sponsored by my brother, Urban Excellence, the brother Black Dot. This is the I Am series. All right, this is the Young Guards from, and what was the company again? 5150, I believe. Right, that Melanin Guard. Right, shout out to the guards. Okay, so let's get this party started the right way. Let's get into this program. All right. Hold on. Damn, where my audio at? That ain't the one. Give me 1 second. Let's get into the pillar perspective, okay? Let's get into the pillar perspective. Because I've been saying this from day one. I said we have a very interesting observation about how this thing plays out. We've been telling you from day one, I said, this is the prototype of the Gemini, right? Ye or Kanye West is having an internal struggle. The internal struggle you can identify in the conversation. How can you be a black Jew but believe in white Christ? So, as the prototypical Gemini, he presents the conundrum, but his conundrum is not just his own, it's also representative of the people that he represents. Him being Polaris, right? He represents the constellation of Polaris. He is the north node, or the focal point, or the direct node, the leadership. The node is the thing responsible for the magnetism. Everything attracts to the pole. So he is the quote unquote the North Star, the pole star, right? That operates as the mental direction of where the people are actually heading at. So, thus, for so many words, as he said, he ran the culture for the last 20 years, exactly what I've been explaining to you, right? He understands that his mind, him being a Gemini, that his mind is the thing that actually pushes culture forward, because he is the nodal point. He is Polaris. He represents the North Star, right? And the North Star was tied into and responsible for emancipation. Hence the fact the movie Emancipation will be coming out tonight at midnight. Directed by Antoine Fuqua. Okay? A very key component to this narrative, Antoine Fuqua directed the movie Training Day. Training Day featured the character played by Denzel Washington that he received the Oscar for, Lonzo. Lonzo was based on a real-life character of Rafael Perez from the Rampart unit in Los Angeles. Rafael Perez, as per the documentary series called Dossier. This is a documentary series that came out last year, but it was put together by ex-journalists from the Los Angeles Times and ex-police, feds, and also LAPD. And they all told the story about how the LAPD and the rest of them was complicit with the murder of Big and Pac. And Rafael Perez was the person alleged to have been the trigger man initially, or set the play up. So Denzel wins an Oscar playing the character who was responsible for knocking off Big. And we all applaud Lonzo, right? Antoine Fuqua also ironically does Brooklyn's Finest, right, which was a movie featuring Chadwick Boseman, and it was about Brooklyn detectives, undercovers going deep cover and things of that nature, shit like that. But Antoine Fuqua also was supposed to do the Tupac biopic, right? He is tethered to those narratives and those stories intricately. So Antoine Fuqua now has developed this 9-figure budget movie about slavery, about the individual, I forgot our brother's name, who had the lashes on his back, right? Who ran, who emancipated himself from the plantation, went up north, got into the Union Army, came back, you know what I'm saying, fought the Confederates to free the family up. Okay? So, yeah, that particular narrative is coming in. And once again, the conversation is the promotion and the propagation by the Jewish-led media, Hollywood in particular, that vehicle that consistently gives you an entire visual conviction of who you are, right? They have put billions of dollars towards this particular slave narrative that is coming out of Hollywood, that's giving visual support to this idea. And they almost control the entire imaginarium of it, because your only reference points is what you've seen on the silver screen or what somebody told you, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But at the same time, those same people are telling you that you cannot lay claim to anything that comes prior to that. So that's your cutoff point. We'll give you all of that you need as a reference. But we're giving you nothing before that, and you don't exist in the future, right? In our narratives, in our movies, this is about as good as it gets. You feel me? And you should be just happy with that because at least you'll get an all-black cast. But then something like Black Panther turns around and it does $1 billion and it shatters that myth. So now Hollywood is looking for Afro-surrealism, Afrofuturism, and things of that nature. Okay, so they can't hold back the tide, but if left up to them, they're going to continue to give the people the things that are consistent with their narrative. And their narrative is, you can't possibly be this. You can only be that. Right? So, Ye comes along and he says something totally different. Right? And the people don't necessarily receive what he's saying, or they don't necessarily receive how he's saying it. Today, he went on Alex Jones and he said a lot. Right? But it represents a very interesting quagmire that people are going to find themselves stuck in a situation not knowing that they stepped in the sticky glue. So he set another trap with that conversation. Right? But like Ye, you feel me? He's always undoing something to do it. So as much as he did to establish a very concrete argument about why he is allowed to do the things that he does if other things are allowed to be done, versus, if he cannot do these particular things, then the things that are being said about freedom and democracy really don't exist. So he's also exposing a level of hypocrisy that a lot of them are going to have to live with. Because the truth of the matter is that America loves Hitler. That's not just a sentiment that's expressed by Ye alone. Again, he's opening up a can of worms that are going to lead to people asking about Operation Paperclip. That are going to lead to people asking about how can they have, once again, open neo-Nazis, people who openly love and praise Hitler and promise to continue his work. But in this country, they have never had an all-out assault on those particular organizations if they consider them a threat, especially if ADL is saying that the percentage of harassment and threats is going up, and these people have always represented a domestic terrorist threat to them. These are the only people who have actually utilized violence against these people on plenty opportunities, washing them up. Matter of fact, the synagogue shooting, about a 44-year-old shooter up in Pittsburgh at the Tree of Life Synagogue. That was people who belonged to these particular sects, but they never pushed the button on them. Not only that, once again, there's so many things that America incorporated when they brought the Nazis over in Operation Paperclip. Now, that's not a conspiracy theory. This is something that you can Google and research, and there's tangible proof that alludes to this. There's an entire movie called Boys from Brazil, where they showed that they went over there and they started getting busy automatically, immediately, right? Getting into their cloning process. Yes, NASA comes out of that. CIA comes out of that. So the majority of this country, of the what's called a white population, or mainly German in particular, they have the highest percentage of what's considered white population in this country. They make up the most majority of them. So, of course, he's going to open a can of worms, and it's going to be received how it's going to be received, and people are going to latch on to that and skip over a lot of other things that were said. And that's how they pretty much pick apart his interviews, but it was a 3-hour interview, so he said a lot of things. Let's check some of the stuff out that he said, right? And let's check some of the things out that was said as well.
Saying, You kind of got mad at him and said, hey, don't disrespect me with my billions they just stole. Because he said, hey, maybe it was never yours. I think his point is what you just made. If they can grab it out of your account, it's never yours. Unless it's your farm, your people, your kids, your thing, it's not yours. I don't think he was dissing your success. I think he was saying, was it ever yours to begin with? They can take it.
Our life is not ours, it's God's.
So now you get what he was saying.
I talked to the ministers.
Okay, so you're not mad at him now.
I'm not mad at anyone. I'm not mad at Ari.
Well, if it's not off record, tell us about the conversation.
On the record, Ari Emanuel, if you need me and your wife to step into a private room and have me work on her clothing line, I'm here.
But seriously, so you were a little mad at Farrakhan. You had to talk. How'd that go?
It's gonna be all Christian, Ari. Rom. Don't worry. It's gonna be all Christian, Rom.
You are something else. Look, you look really friendly and nice, but with that mask, you look evil as hell.
You look evil.
Let me just say this in closing. I've done a lot of study. I think Hitler was a really bad guy, and I repudiate what Hitler did. I understand that the British intelligence set him up and used him.
I like Hitler.
I don't like Hitler. And I know you're trying to be shocking with that.
I'm not trying to be shocking. I like Hitler. I do not. The Holocaust is not what happened. Let's look at the facts of that. And Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities.
So tell us, you think Hitler was the good guy in World War II?
I think God says man should not kill. We should not have wars, period. None of us should be killing anybody. Ukraine and the streets of Chicago, all violence should stop, and we should all serve Christ. That's what I feel. And I feel like I love everyone accordingly, from all the way from the Balenciagas to the Hitlers.
Let me tell you a story.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
To Ari Emanuel, to Jamie Dimon, to the people who... What's that?
Got an Amber Alert.
So, let's talk about the curse of the Messiah, right? Let's talk about the curse of the Messiah and, you know, what it actually like. The quest that one takes where you are attempting to be Christ-like means that when you reach that particular space and that place of enlightenment, when you get to Christ consciousness, you also have to participate in 100% love. You even have to love thy enemy and all of that stupid shit that they keep telling us that our people fall for, not understanding that it's in steps and stages that you have to get to that elevated space and place. And this, once again, is not in defense of Ye, but as a Christian, he's able to play chess in that space because that is the true epitome of being Christ-like. You know what I'm saying? The only place that he shows his hand is he's still vindictive against the people that he considered to be satanic or an enemy of what he can frame as a reference to be anti-Christ. You feel me? But still, here's an individual who is standing in the space of this entity that everybody else is saying is not real, and he's using the conversation as a social zeitgeist in this moment, right, to make it part of people's reality. This is the only thing that people conceive can be his shield and his sword and his armor. But the issue with that is that he is also, in full acknowledgement of what has been taught to him in his Western society as Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? He's still in the Western man aspect and not the Western most man, which is the Osarian aspect of it. He still has to die to be born again and come alive to his true self, in terms of him understanding that the Asar of the West is the perfect black. Right? You got to see yourself as God, young man, and stop exemplifying the fact that your calcification of Caucasian has set in so deep and is seeped into the degree with the pineal is calcified, and his connection to the neocons, right? Because neocons are neo-Nazis. So they love Hitler too. That's the company that he got, that he keeps. And these are the people that he feels is the army of Christ. Because in essence, the way that they frame themselves is that they are still the Crusaders. You understand? When the neocons are still writing and things of that nature, Majority of them are off branches from esoteric organizations. The Ku Klux Klan is an occult organization. You do know this. And they also branch from crusaders, so they understand that they're still at war with Moorish empires. You do understand that, and then they understand that it's a religious war as well. So those are some of them, the holders of the key, the holders of the secret. Some of them are holders of the covenant. Some of them raiders of the ark. You feel me? But everybody knows different pieces of your narrative and your story. And some of them, or the majority of them, are conjoined with the agreement to leave you sleeping as long as possible, right? Hence the fact that they are globally saying, look, if these niggas are saying that they're woke, we need to go to war against that. And you see that they have him, right? Because, again, this thing is all about politics now. He's torn between red and blue, black and white, God and the devil, a black Jew and a white Christ. He's in trouble. But he's a Gemini. We get it, right? So he represents good trouble. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a walking contradiction, but that's where the magic is at, you know?
And it made me really mad.
It's
because
chaos.
when I was a kid growing up reading comic books and stuff, I could read really early. When I was like 5, I could read like a 10-year-old. When I was 10, I could read like a college student. And so I put down comic books. This is what happened to Kyrie Irving, and it made me really mad because when I was a kid growing up reading comic books and stuff, I could read really early. When I was like 5, I could read like a 10-year-old. When I was 10, I could read like a college student. And so I put down comic books when I was about 8 because my mom had all these history books, and some of them were picture history books. But I started reading those. And it's like a fact that Solomon married a bunch of black women. It's a fact that Ethiopia was Jewish. It's a fact that North Africa was Jewish.
Give it a minute.
It's a fact
Business.
that went on. And then Kyrie Irving puts out a video explaining that a bunch of North African blacks are intermarried and part Jewish, and Israel lets a bunch of blacks in because they can prove that their lineage, their names are Jewish names. So how is it anti-Semitic? And how does the ADL say it's anti-Semitic for black people who are related directly to King Solomon and King David, the line of Judah, which Haile Selassie was the leader of Ethiopia? That's where this whole movement comes from. To act like they don't know this, I'm not blaming Jews for this. I'm blaming the leftist ADL. To deny black Jews their heritage is a historic fraud. It's a damn historic fact. It's on Wikipedia. It's not even debated.
It's true, but it's not just the leftists, it's the right-wing ones too, because in Israel, Ye was just showing me a clip the other day where they are racist towards the Sudanese or Ethiopian black Jews that immigrate into Israel. They kick them out. There's quotas.
Well, I mean, Israel's even mean to the Hasidic Jews now. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're waging war.
Right. So, and I agree with you. And what they've done to Kyrie Irving is just to
Hey, Dr. Zelenko, beautiful person, wonderful guy. He'll tell you, he goes, yeah, what runs Israel's evil, and so is your groups.
Ben Shapiro just mad that Kyrie won't sign his basketball. Back to you, Nick.
But what about that issue? I'm sure you know about Haile Selassie and Kyrie Irving. Your take on Kyrie?
That's my brother. And I love the fact that just like now, it felt like you were in this battle by yourself, but now you got two warriors alongside of you like gargoyles at the top of the buildings in New York, ready to fight for Christ. And when Kyrie put up that information, they always want to write me off and say, Ye is just so crazy, so crazy, so crazy. And then Kyrie was like, okay, here goes some information right here. Information is the unlock. There's 5 elements that the 1%, the elites, use to control the 99%, which are the masses. Those elements are water, food, shelter, medicine, and education. Which one of those 5 elements are the most important? Education. Because with the knowledge, you can go get water, you can go get food, you can get shelter, and you can get medication.
They don't want independence.
I agree. And Kyrie fought for something. And then also, for me, Kyrie, I love Kyrie. He did what his job was. They had the Hebrew Israelites in front of the game. And now the high schools, I always think about the high schools. I always think about the future, the grammar schools, the high schools. these are the people that are going to change our lives. So the high schools are asking questions. People are running around saying, oh, Ye's racist. What is the term racism was created in, I think, the construct of racism was created.
The communist Russians.
Yeah. And it's like the whole woke culture, the idea of the white man did this, the Jewish guy did this. Now I'm saying specifically the bankers. I think my misstep in the tweet was to pinpoint a people as opposed to pinpointing the devil and the fact that the devil used to have that. But more than that, it was my disobedience to God that forced me into the whale's stomach as I am right now. But it's only my obedience to God that's going to bring me out of the whale's stomach.
Let's elaborate. You're not walking back what you said. You are clarifying it, which is key. It's evil in the hearts of men and women that's a problem. And so you're not walking it back. You're clarifying. This is big.
Let's clarify. Satan, the angel, God's, one of his favorite angels, one of the most powerful angels.
The most powerful.
Yeah, Satan. That's what I like. The most powerful angel, Satan. And he brought angels with him when he left heaven, right? How many angels did Satan bring with him?
33% of them. So he brought billions of angels with him.
So angels, Satan has 33% of God's warriors with him, working for Satan. But God runs the world. And it's Satan that gets inside of the Zionists and makes them do evil things. But these are stories, because I'm a baby Christian, right? But I heard that, God loves me so much. He loves me so much, right? Then I go to Drink Champs and I'm drinking. And the Bible says king don't drink, right? I know it's not Milo. I know I'm not saying it in correct, perfect English. Are the masses. Those elements are water, food, shelter, medicine, and education. Which one of those 5 elements are the most important? Education. Because with the knowledge, you can go get water, you can go get food, you can get shelter, and you can get medication.
They don't want independence.
I agree. And Kyrie fought for something. And then also, for me.
Now, what you just bore witness to is a fulfillment of pillar prophecies and predictions. Because word of my mother, I just sat up here and told you how this whole thing was going to play out. And he confirmed, word for word and letter for letter, the same shit that I've been explaining to y'all. He even utilizing the facts. Food, arts, clothing, technology, shelter. That entire bill right there was the pillar prediction. I said he is conflicted by his inability to see the black Christ. He skated that whole conversation. Alex Jones brought the nigga a bunch of motherfucking receipts. One after the other. Says, could you see yourself in this narrative, in this script? He was incapable. The neocon even said that we understand that the fucking black Jews is them. That's why we hate the fucking Jews to begin with. Y'all don't understand what the Nazis was saying? Why they had to kill the Jews? Because they had Moorish blood and they was in Spain mixing too much and they wasn't ethnically clean, so they had to cleanse them because of Moorish blood. This conversation is asinine. Right? But it's one of the most important conversations at the same time. Feel me? It's one of the most interesting conversations at the same time because so much was just said right there in that clip. Just that one clip alone. Let's listen to it one more time.
And it made me really mad because when I was a kid growing up reading comic books and stuff, I could read really early. When I was like 5, I could read like a 10-year-old. When I was 10, I could read like a college student. And so I put down comic books. This is what happened to Kyrie Irving, and it made me really mad because when I was a kid growing up reading comic books and stuff, I could read really early. When I was like 5, I could read like a 10-year-old. When I was 10, I could read like a college student. And so I put down comic books when I was about 8 because my mom had all these history books. And some of them were picture history books, but I started reading those. And it's like a fact that Solomon married a bunch of black women. It's a fact that Ethiopia was Jewish. It's a fact that North Africa was Jewish. It's a fact that that went on. And then Kyrie Irving puts out a video explaining that a bunch of North African blacks are intermarried and part Jewish, and Israel lets a bunch of blacks in because they can prove that their lineage, their names are Jewish names. So how is it anti-Semitic? And how does the ADL say it's anti-Semitic for black people who are related directly to King Solomon and King David, the line of Judah, which Haile Selassie was the leader of Ethiopia? That's where this whole movement comes from. To act like they don't know this, I'm not blaming Jews for this. I'm blaming the leftist ADL. To deny black Jews their heritage is a historic fraud. It's a damn historic fact. It's on Wikipedia. It's not even debated.
It's true, but it's not just the leftists, it's the right-wing ones too, because in Israel, Ye was just showing me a clip the other day where they are racist towards the Sudanese or Ethiopian black Jews that immigrated to Israel. They kick them out. There's quotas.
Well, Israel's even mean to the Hasidic Jews now. That's what I'm saying. They're waging war.
Right. So, and I agree with you. And what they've done to Kyrie Irving is just
disgusting. Hey, Dr. Zelenko, beautiful person, wonderful guy. He'll tell you, he goes, yeah, what runs Israel's evil, and so is your groups.
Ben Shapiro just mad that Kyrie won't sign his basketball. Back to you, Nick.
But what about that issue? I'm sure you know about Haile Selassie and Kyrie Irving. Your take on Kyrie?
That's my brother. And I love the fact that just like now, it felt like you were in this battle by yourself, but now you got two warriors alongside of you like gargoyles at the top of the buildings in New York, ready to fight for Christ. And when Kyrie put up that information, they always want to write me off and say, Ye is just so crazy, so crazy, so crazy. And then Kyrie was like, okay, here goes some information right here. Information is the unlock. There's 5 elements that the 1%, the elites, use to control the 99%, which are the masses. Those elements are water, food, shelter, medicine, and education. Which one of those 5 elements are the most important? Education. Because with the knowledge, you can go get water, you can go get food, you can get shelter, and you can get medication.
They don't want independence.
I agree. And Kyrie fought for something. And then also, for me, Kyrie, I love Kyrie. He did what his job was. They have the Hebrew Israelites in front of the game. And now the high schools, I always think about the high schools. I always think about the future, the grammar schools, the high schools. These are the people that are going to change our lives. So the high schools are asking questions. People are running around saying, oh, Ye's racist. What is the term racism was created in, I think, the construct of racism was created.
The communist Russians.
Yeah. And it's like the whole woke culture, the idea of the white man did this, the Jewish guy did this. Now I'm saying specifically the bankers. I think my misstep in the tweet was to pinpoint a people as opposed to pinpointing the devil and the fact that the devil used to have that. But more than that, it was my disobedience to God that forced me into the whale's stomach as I am right now. But it's only my obedience to God that's going to bring me out of the whale's stomach.
Well, let's elaborate. You're not walking back what you said. You are clear.
So let's list 3 of them. Obedience to God in your covenant. Right? Actually, what it means to be a Jew instead of saying that you're a Jew. There's 2 differences. The whole fact that we said that this is going to lead to the children doing investigations and ultimately, forcing the answer or forcing the conversation, the children will carry this torch. When you destroy their heroes, when you destroy the people who they consider to be legendary, when you destroy people, period, and you bully them in public and the children have to grow up seeing this, at some point, they're going to start asking questions. They're going to do some research. They're going to do a deep dive, right? This conversation does not go away. Then also, let's touch on the fact that you are of the bloodline. You are of a divine bloodline. Why could you not see the divinity in yourself, but everyone else knows your story? And they just tied you directly to the Bible. If you're going to be in the book, at least find yourself in it. Find yourself in a substantial place in it that you can find power from it. Because why can someone who has to force themselves into the book, how can they extract more power from it and then you pen underneath a page with black ink on it. Look, I ain't got to overdo it. I think that I'm bringing the point home. It's a pillar prophecy. Also, what? In the temple houses the vessel of what they call, how he identified the synagogue of Satan being the same bankers that were in the temple at the time when the quote unquote Christ, right? When the Christ came into the temple and he turned the tables over, that was for the money changers. So he was imitating, or he was mimicking in this cosmic time, because he represents the constellation of Polaris, which indelibly is tethered to the age of Pisces. Since we are changing the age, we are about to change the pole star. And the pole star is changing from Polaris to King Cepheus, who is a Cushite Ethiopian king. So now you can see why the conversation was such a demonstration from Alex Jones making this yet again another pillar prophecy and another pillar prediction fulfilled. And now you got the source on top of it. And now you understand why this conversation is so paramount and necessary and not a distraction during these times, because you're about to go into a 7-year. How you going to go into a 7-year? You can't identify yourself as God. You getting beat up until you get to the finish line. So when they ask you what your motherfucking name is, you don't say Toby. Emancipation. But once again, people going to go to the block office, not the box office, but the block office, right? And make that shit a blockbuster into the fantasy imagination industry, telling you who you are. You're going to go entertain the idea of you being a rebellious slave rather than a free man. And you wonder why all of our motherfucking bees getting burned down like Sam Friedman. Or is it Fried Man? The man who fried the bank. Sam, Uncle Sam, the man who fried the bank. And y'all don't even get it. Y'all don't even get it. The man who just fried the bank is named Sam. Like the uncle. He was the biggest donator to the Democratic motherfucking Party. And we don't see that. We people just can't see the veneer that's been pulled over their eyes. You know, right in front of them. He was the bag man for the Democrats. They never gave $1 back. And it was a motherfucking Ponzi scheme. Right? He pumped millions into their motherfucking dreams, into their whole. How you gonna run a campaign on dirty cash that was part of a Ponzi scheme? And not only are they not prosecuted, nigga, they not even saying nothing like, oh, this was deplorable. I denounced this donation, but I'm going to make the best of it. We're going to donate the donation or make amends for this shit. They ain't saying nothing. They not prosecuting him. The nigga said he's down to $100,000. He was once worth 16 B's. Right? But nobody called him an abject failure and a piece of shit and all of these things that they say about our people. Right? That hit a bump in the road because, you know, they running a marathon, running from the slave catchers. You know what I'm saying? You might hit a bump in the road every now and then and get tripped up. But we shouldn't be turning our backs on one another. So, you know, I don't even want to turn my back on this brother because it's a true test of all of us, not as Christians attempting to be Christ-like, but it's a true test on us as Christ beings, right? As Christ beings, and that means that we should always consider ourselves pure of heart, free of judgment, heart light as a feather. You know what I'm saying? Practicing Sankofa. Hold on. We're getting in the DeLorean, and we're going way back, right? We're going way back. We're going back to a time when we remember who we are, why we came here, what our assignment is, right? And minus anything that's taking place external to ourselves with Ye or anyone else, regardless of anything that he say. You understand? Are you being free of judgment? Are you just being the observer of these situations and not internalizing it? You feel me? And allowing it to affect you in a way in which I want to cancel him. I don't like what he said. You can't change how he feel. You can't change what he says. The only thing you're there to do is bear witness to it. You in the audience. You know what I'm saying? You tuned in. You tuned in and didn't like what he says, and you want him to change how he feels so he can say something different to make you feel comfortable. That's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? And then you bought into this illusion that they're feeding you, that you're part, once again, of a social zeitgeist that affects how somebody else sees themselves, sees the world, even though we still do it subconsciously and it affects us subconsciously. You know what I'm saying? Because people are, or most people are, affected by how other people perceive, receive, view them. You know what I'm saying? Through these corridors and these channels. Right? So with Ye, because he is the consummate Gemini, I think he is imbued by the Spirit of Christ, but skewed by thinking he's white. Right? And that is my pillar perspective. That's my perspective. That's not me saying that I want him to change or he's going to change if I make sense of it, if I break it down. No, I'm saying from my objective view, from an observer, watching from a distance, taking notes, right? And even as a biographer and a journalist, I'm writing a book on this incident. And I have journaled on the good brother for 20 years straight after I started interviewing him in 2002. So the continuation of that observation leads me to this calculation that, yes, I'm seeing someone who is fearless. I'm seeing someone who is kicking down the pillars of doubt and disbelief, because this nigga think Christ is real and he's standing on his Christianity regardless of what anybody thinks, say, feel, right? Or how they show up and receive it. And that's what he's standing on. That's his foundation. That's what, he's gang for that. You know what I'm saying? And he made a very poignant observation of his own activities to admit, the fact that, yes, you're going on this platform to have a high-level conversation. For the most part, you're getting into your emotional selves and your feelings, but now you're imbued by the spirit of something that would be other than what we could say is the spirit of Christ, right? It would more so be like, it's the still spirits. It could be the spirits of vice. And he got into his bag, said he was jealous. He showed that he was trapped. He exposed the aspects of himself that are un-Christ-like, because on the chakra system, our Jacob's ladder with the 7 rungs, the 4th rung is the heart, right? But the lower 3 is what's considered, that's the prison, that's hell, that's physicality, right? The root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. A weak will, right? A weak sacral with a weak root, making you open and susceptible at all times, right? To what's considered spiritual walk-ins, So my observation is, he's standing on his demonstration, and the world still needs to see a symbol of what it looks like to be fearless, whether the nigga's in his mind or not. Look how his fantasy is working for him and your reality is not working for you. That's also the chess move. If this nigga's in his imagination, look how far it got him. What are you waiting for, right? Your concrete reality, how is it paid off for you? You feel me? You got $2 billion to lose to stand on what you believe, right? Because at least he's showing you how the story goes. Even if it ends in blood, that's the story, my nigga. So don't cry me a river. But he's skewed by thinking he's white. So it's almost like once he comes to grips with the conundrum or the understanding of how that can be a conundrum based on where he's putting his loyalty and his allegiance. You feel me? How are you saying that you're a black Jew and then you can't see that there's a black Christ that goes along with that tribe? Where does the white Christ come from in a black Jew dynamic? It's a conundrum and a contradiction, but once again, he is the Gemini. He is the contradiction. He's the contradictive Christ. That's who he is. Christ had a twin. In the Bible, he was Saint Philip. They call him the Doubting Thomas, right? And the Doubting Thomas is the FUD. It's the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's the Judas. It's the Christ that undermined the higher aspect of your Christ. That's like, nigga, I'm ready to bust on out. You know what I'm saying? And get this thing. It's Jesus. Jesus is the superstar. He's attached to physicality because he like the trappings of earth. He's like, nah, they was treating me like a god. Christ is like, I got God's work to do. You know what I'm saying? This shit might be bloody. Jesus don't want to get dirty. He like, I'm a superstar, nigga. I'm going to the Met Gala. And that's the life that he was trapped in prior to this. You're looking at the metamorphic of messianic force, but you're looking at the messianic morphology of Mr. West. I don't got a bomb. But I do got some thunder. You got some thunder. I don't hear my Cash App going off either. God damn it. Yes, this is brought to you by you're getting a preview. Yeah. You're getting a preview. Look. Here I am thinking of you. Taking an hour out of my time. Sharing a pillar perspective that you can't get nowhere else. Giving you receipts. Taking you back in time. Showing you influence in my mind. And I don't hear that Cash App going on. That's not a way to reward. That's not a reciprocation that we should be participating in. Especially if we're talking about a divine conversation with what Kanye's talking about is divinity. These are divine people he's talking about, God's children. He not talking about the devil. Look, because the devil spawn they got, them niggas is emmed up. Right? Y'all ever think about that? Them niggas don't got a currency issue. You feel me? They don't got a currency issue. Look, the occultists in the community, the darkest segment of it, whatever they call themselves, because they don't even got names, but there's Satanists in the fold, and those all types of people that come into that particular, you know what I'm saying, demonstration. But you see them at events, they are the people that are at the most peace, ironically, and they spend the most bread. They're the most peaceful. They don't even be having no drama with them or nothing like that. They be the most easiest in their spirit. You can see how light their spirit is, and they just be floating through that bitch. I'm dead ass. And they spend like they know that they live in abundance because they're not trapped by the prison of fear. And people are scared to death of the devil because they're scared to death of dark. And that's why they're scared to die. They're scared of hell. They're scared of fire. They're scared of cold. They're scared of water. They're scared to be dry. You know what I'm saying? They just scared. They just scary. They're scary. And Ye is showing you, he said that I'm the nerd. I never caught a body. I'm the nigga who got on a pink polo. You feel me? I got a pink polo on, and I'm the pussy dude with the pink polo, and I'm the one who put my life on the line. Once again, another demonstration. He just gave me the quotables that I need to say another pillar prediction. Because what did I keep saying? I said we're looking at the metamorphosis of a Messiah, even if it's messy or not. You're still seeing someone who is epitomizing what it looks like to be Christ-like, step out on faith over fear, and live 7 days enough to say, oh, the devil's not real because I'm still alive. So what, they took my money? Them niggas is banksters. Right? My beef is with them. They the paper gangsters with the pencils. They the contract. They the insurance. They do the audits. They keep the books. Right? They're the banksters. But they can't take my light. They can't kill me. They can't silence me. They can't take my voice. They can't take my communication. They can't take my spirit. They can't take my heart. You feel me? They can't shake my faith. So if this nigga is so concrete and solidified in his faith for something that's not real, once again, you got to get in the mirror and ask yourself, why is your shit not working for you if your shit is so solidified? And you got so many, confirmations of its reality, of it being part of your everyday reality and being the real deal. Feel me? So you're seeing the shattering of a paradigm, and it's either nay nor yay. It's either nay nor yay. It's too hard to say, and it's too hard to call what it could potentially spawn and give rise to. This nigga's gonna give a rise to black Nazis now. You crazy? Hold on. Man. Look, I seen this shit with the MAGA. I seen this shit with the alt-right. I seen this shit on these platforms alone with the Trumpsters. On these YouTube platforms in this conscious community. I seen it. I seen this shit with white Christ on this YouTube shit. All these niggas to be like fake woke, borderline conscious, they get into the fucking Christian spiel right after that. And these niggas be talking metaphysics and they'll jump into Christianity. Right? I seen it with the black Satanists. I seen it with the black skateboarders. I seen it with the black anime. I seen it with the black everything, nigga. I seen it with the black Wiccans. I seen it with shrooms. You finna see black Nazis. Once again, you have to understand who he is on a cosmic level and what he represents. Let's strip it down, right? Stop looking at the physical aspect of the person. I'm telling you, the energies is operating behind this person that is allowing that level of magnetism to be so magnetic to the fact that you know this nigga gonna say something crazy. You still watched it. Who's to blame now? Him or you? You gonna blame him now? Look, the nigga in this, Kanye said something else crazy. Why the fuck was you watching at this point? You know the nigga gonna say something crazy. He surprised you? Oh, the nigga, it's still some shit to get out, right? Yo, family, it's the hypocrisy. Like he said, niggas is still selling pussy on Instagram but concerned about Balenciaga. Right? Motherfuckers still ignoring their children and offering them up to the sex industry. But it's Balenciaga. The whole culture's over-sexualized. But it's Balenciaga. We don't protect the babies, the sisters, the young sisters, the tweens, the teens, any and everything in between. All the way up into the nanas. But it's Balenciaga. Right? So the hypocrisy of it all, right? He who was without sin, can't nobody raise their motherfucking hand. Can't nobody lift an arm. But that also means that as a society and a community, we're not supposed to be quiet and complacent. But again, what is your place? Your place is your place. And until you clean up your place, you can't come outside and clean up nobody else's. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just not how it works. You got to have a foundation. You feel me? Because the trick is, inside out, not outside in. So, as crazy as he seems, he has every right to be crazy. He's already established that. Look what he has sacrificed and given to be crazy. Right? Once again, the question would be, why are you still listening? And what have you done to secure your freedom and your emancipation so you can be as crazy as you want to be? Right? Because people mad at him because he's being as crazy as he want to be, and you can't be as crazy as you want to be. Right? Your crazy is domesticated. You got delayed crazy. You got control crazy. And when I'm saying crazy, I'm talking about chaos. The fact that you are a chaos being at the end of the motherfucking day. Right? Your melanated ass is here for a reason. And it's during a particular season. Right? And this is chaos. You're going through a transformation. You feel me? He on whatever he on. You're still allowing him to surprise you. Told you the other day, you have to turn away from Ye if you want to keep yourself sane, because he is the embodiment of contradiction. And if you cannot master that schism, you're going to put yourself in a mental prison following someone who's always going to go from one side of the street to the other, one side of the street to the other, and then sometimes play in the middle. You like, damn, you can't keep up. He's going like this. He's a Gemini. He's mercurial. He's going forward and backwards. Right? But he said he wants to die. He has a death wish as well. So he has overcome fear to the degree that he's ready to be with mommy. That's how much his pain cannot be subsided. He's already resigned to his pain. But he said some very key things. He wouldn't allow them to speak on death. He said that he loves everybody, right? But he don't fuck with them rapping ass niggas, right? He got smoke for them. So he didn't give them forgiveness and redemption. But he said he loved everybody else. So he's playing the Christian card. Doesn't Christ have love for everybody? So if you're a Christian and you're being Christ-like, do you not supposed to have love for everybody? Right? Can they tell him technically who he can like and who he can love? This is another issue about control and censorship. Is it his right to say what he said and stand on that? If that's his business and those are his sentiments and that's how he feels, are we all right with somebody being in their truth or being however they feel? Why is what he thinks threatening to the social order of somebody's personal like or their opinion about somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we could chop it about. Because it was some, it was a lot was said.
The right to wear a super, super, super fresh jacket. I had the right to tell God, please don't take away the supermodels. I just want to marry one. I just
Forbidden.
engineers. We need our engineers back. We need our architects back. We need our doctors back. Stop with the photos on Instagram. Stop with all the entertainment. 21 Savage owns a bank. We have brilliant people that are inside of...
By the way, I want to say the future, we're very close with some folks.
King. You know what I'm saying? He denounced me. I'm the one fighting on the front line, and no black person should say nothing bad about me in public unless they're a puppet. Period. I put my life on the line. And then afterwards, they're going to talk about it. If anything happens to me, everyone's going to go, oh, he was the greatest. He was the greatest. Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. Go home to your scared little Benz and your scared little townhome and your scared little movie contracts and shut up. Don't talk to me about nothing, bro.
What do you think of Ice Cube? That he lost 9 or 7 million, whatever it was, because he wouldn't take the shot. I respect that.
Yeah, I respect Cube, but he's got to play his position. It's like, it's fine. I wanted Cube to come in and help us with the politics because he's one of the only people that was brave enough to talk.
He's definitely for real.
Yeah, he's an engineer. He's an architect and engineer by trade. And then he dropped out to do entertainment. Guys, hey, everybody, stop. All engineers, we need our engineers back. We need our architects back. We need our doctors back. Stop with the photos on Instagram. Stop with all the entertainment. 21 Savage owns a bank. We have brilliant people that are in.
All right. I gotta hit you with a double on this. Not only is they put a prediction, but we gotta go back. We gotta go back. Oh. I had to go way back with that one. With that one there. You feel me? I was just speaking about the engineers. I just said that I had a conversation with Shaka Atmos like 2012, 20 something. I was talking to Shaka Atmos and he was speaking about social engineering. You need people who are trained as engineers to reverse social engineering. So I think just last week I did a show with the brother Human, who is an AI developer and programmer who has built out an entire infrastructure for digital emancipation. If you want to be free in a virtual realm and Web3 and things of that nature, right? If you want to achieve that level of autonomy, this brother has utilized his skill set to build out an entire paradigm where we can be on our throne. And I explained, the importance of engineers. You can only approach this with the brain of an engineer. You have to reverse engineer what the social engineers put in place that is operating as the spell, the parameters that are being set, the fact that they have our people boxed in, right? You have to get in there as an engineer and figure out how to remove the box from within the box. It moves like a tesseract. I'm going to be able to show you all of these visuals when we launch the media apparatus. You know what I'm saying? We are launching a media apparatus. That's where some of these clips that you're seeing, these are assets that, go along with this project that we're putting together. It's unlike anything that's ever been done. It's going to shift the whole planet, on its head. So I'm so amazed that I see the universe operating and working out in our favor, because the whole world now gets to get a visual overnight of what it looks like. You're looking at
it made me really mad because when I was a kid growing up reading comic books and stuff, I was trying to read really early. When I was like 5, I could read like a 10-year-old. When I was 10, I could read like a college
just like that.
And so I put down comic books. This is what happened to
right? But that's what we have been putting together, a visual demonstration and approach to new media that's on that level. You feel me? So people are asking, what can they do? You can donate. You can be involved in this build out, because this shit is going to be a spaceship unlike anything other ever seen. And we're coming full-fledged, right? During the best time ever. Right? During the best time ever. You feel me? We coming in, slam dunking this shit. Putting the motherfucking nail in the coffin from the dope. From day one. Unapproachable. Like, nah. You gotta die and be resurrected and reborn and come back again to catch up to this shit. This thing is going where no man has ever been, out the gate. So bringing something is this once again cutting edge, paradigm shifting, and reflective of the seven, you know what I'm saying, 2023, seven heaven, you know, and that seven heaven is coming back too, you know what I'm saying, bringing it all back. Mars and retro. I got the moon in my rising is Mars, so this retro season I've been able to reach back into my treasure chest, you know what I'm saying, and resurrect the things that have been waiting patiently to come back into the forefront. And this is a affirmation of, you know, a love of mine. You know, I love media. I love the news. I love disseminating the news. I love, you know, telling these particular stories in the way that we do, because it's poetry. And let me show y'all this. The importance of poetry, the highest form of it. Let's see, do I got the article? In 1 second. Damn. Right? Are the Nazis evil? No doubt. They killed many black people. They're white. So we as black people see it differently. We don't trust the system of white supremacy's fragility, we call it white fragility, as a collective which includes Nazis, Hitler, white, Leopold white, Columbus white, Reagan white. Alright? This is from my brother Rizza Islam. It blows my mind at how many people do not know about Project Paperclip. The U.S. literally brought Nazi scientists here after World War II, changed their names, hired them for areas like the Department of Defense, Science, Tech, Education. This government doesn't hate Hitler. It reveres him. America loves Hitler. Okay? If America did not love Hitler, then America would declare war on neo-Nazis. It's as simple as that. Right? They could keep telling you about Blue Ridge and shit like that. We grew up in my lifetime to see one motherfucking raid on people who demonstrated an allegiance or a connection to some sort of neo-Nazi foe. I never heard of any other one other than that. And they be giving them niggas the business. You know what I'm saying? Those are paramilitary organizations that be tearing these police up. And they have infiltrated them on every level possible. Right? So how you gonna fight yourself? Right? And the ADL says that these people pose the biggest threat. So how could that be possible and you never made an attempt to make a move on them, but you got international cells of terrorists or hitmen, mercenaries for that matter, that go around the whole planet and settle their beefs for Israel. Right? Mossad will come and clip you wherever you at. If you got beef with the nation or the state of Israel. So why they never ran down on the neo-Nazis? But the ADL keeps saying that anti-Semitism is on the rise and it's a threat. And they need to pass legislation. And they calling for it in Israel. Like I said that they would. Especially when Netanyahu come in for the third term with the ultra-Zionist government. They're going to declare anti-Semitism as a threat to Jewry globally and say wherever they find it at, they're going to attack it first because they feel threatened. Hold on, let me see if I can find this article. A very interesting article came out these past few days. They started speaking about the genetic DNA, the genetic history of the Ashkenazi. Some new research paper just dropped, and they got receipts on them about who they came from, exactly when, the whole bill, the whole piece, the whole spiel. We're going to be deep diving into that at another time. There's a lot going on in the Vatican, too. Guess we could talk about it. Hold on.
We are in a state of shock, horror, and disbelief. There are so many questions that remain unknown.
The Covington community in St. Peter Catholic Church coming together in the toughest of times. Retired priest Father Otis Young and Ruth Pratt, both well known in the community and at the church. Wednesday, people gathered there for grief counseling.
She was a wonderful friend to me. And when my parents died, she was there for me. She helped me go on.
This woman didn't want to share her name, but says she knew Father Young and met Pratt's decades ago. They were close friends. Her fondest memories include the last time she saw her. They were raising money for a teacher in need.
And she handed me $20. And I had a Christmas card and I signed it, and she signed best wishes. She gave me a big hug. And she said, I will always love you.
The bodies were found burned beyond recognition Monday morning, which coroner Charles Preston says makes it harder to identify the victims. Father Otis Young was identified Tuesday as the first victim.
We were able to obtain the history that he had had a bypass operation on his heart. We were able to locate which hospital that was performed at, and then we were able to get his post-operative chest x-ray.
It has...
Right? The Vatican is buzzing with conspiracy theory as hackers take down the Pope's website. Okay? The shit is literally coming down in the virtual, if anything else. Right? Because they said it's about high principalities. Okay? This happened today. So his website went down and Kanye shut down the internet. Right? His website was down and Ye broke the internet. Right? Or Ye and Alex, for that matter. Very interesting. There's all sorts of stuff going on with the Vatican. They beefing with China and they beefing with Russia right now. They on their neck, right? China says something greasy about them, and they won't unsay it. And then they going back and forth with Russia for a bunch of different reasons. But one of the main reasons is that the church had a role to do initially through Pope John Paul II with the collapse of the communist regime, right? The Vatican was funding an paramilitary organization that was fighting against them. I believe it was in the Poles. So they was pumping all of this money up to undermine communism. And they was getting the money from the mob, from the mafia in Italy. And all of this is laid out in a documentary called The Vatican Girl on Netflix. So I am not speaking of conspiracy. This shit is documented. feel me? Once again, you can Google it. So a lot of stuff is coming to the surface in the forefront, but yet and still, our brother Ye is imbued by the Spirit of Christ, but skewed by thinking that he's white. So when is he gonna turn around and say that, because once again, he say that he loves everybody until it comes to the melanated people that he don't get along with. And somebody made a point earlier, and it compounds on a point that I've been making, and that is that he does not condemn any white nationalists. He's never condemned people that consider to be the Klan. So these optics are very telling, right? These are very telling optics in themselves.
You kind of got mad at him and said, hey, don't disrespect me with my billions they just stole. Because he said, hey, maybe it was never yours. I think his point is what you just made. If they can grab it out of your account, it's never yours. Unless it's your farm, your people, your kids, your thing. It's not yours. I don't think he was.
The right to wear a super fresh jacket. I had the right to tell God, please don't take away the supermodels. I just want to marry one.
He's sitting next to someone who represents organizations that identify themselves with white hoods, and he has on a black hood or a black mask. You feel me? So those optics, again, like I've been saying for the last few lives prior to this, his allegiance is with neocons and white nationalists, because these are the people who share the ideals that he holds dear by following, and him being a pole star, but he's following a white Christ that's tied to a Piscean age, right? He's not tied to the ancient, the oldest aspect, and Piscean represents old spirituality, the deepness of the ocean. That old time religion is Pisces, but the modern version of it, right, that the colonizer has captured in the West, the westernized, anglicized version of Christianity is what Kanye West represents. And the prototype of that deity is white Jesus. And that is who he ascribes to. Hence the fact that he was the rapper not responsible for bringing out the Jesus peace, but resurrecting the Jesus peace and making Jesus walks. And then 20 years later, here he go. 20 years of Christianity, we've been exposed to the version of it given by a man who says he's a baby Christian, but also admitted the fact that he has not been consistent with his covenant, because you just can't say that you are Jew or Hebrew, right? Who do you belong to? What tribe are you belonging to? And if he's saying that he's a Levite, if he's the priesthood, then yes, there's many things that the priest has to do specifically to be in adherence to law, to Torah. So him drinking on Drink Champs when you have to, you're supposed to be having a conscientious, high-level conversation, but you get drunk. You know what I'm saying? You get drunk. Then how is that Christ-like? How is that being a Hebrew? How is that being someone who is consistent with the covenants? You know what I'm saying? Because there are already particular parameters. You have to move within the parameters of those parameters, or you are out of order, right? You are out of order, and you are no longer within the borders of what can be considered the protectorate of Creator. And hence the fact he understands that there's chastisement and punishment that comes with that, because it's based on contract. It's a covenant. His whole thing that he just went through prior to that was about contract. So he was telling them, or he's telling the world, that the Jewish people, as false representatives, as intercessors between me and the Creator, they, as your bankers, your lawyers, and your power of attorneys, they say that we're the intercessors between you and Creator with your covenant. Your covenant is here. Alex Jones already told you whose covenant is. I'll repeat it and play it right after this. You feel me? But the covenant is all you. If you are all Jew, but you got to uphold the covenant. It's a contract, right? And if he's no longer upholding the covenant, then he's saying, look, I was stripped of my riches because he falsely ties his power to material. He fell for the temptation of Christ. And he died on camera. He got crucified in public, only to be born again in a new, renewed understanding about the actual facts that come with the contract. Whether he, once again, ends up living up to it or not, you still seen it in real time. That's what it looked like. That's what it is. That's what it was. He continues to teach us the story and the narrative, and fail miserably, right? But fail forward. You have the right to fail. This is his script and his narrative that ultimately he has to play out. The only thing that we are doing is bearing witness to it and making interpretations and transliterations of it based on high-level observations. I need to hit that Cash App. Give me 1 second, please. Yeah, so, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Feel me? Oh, again, today's bill is sponsored by Urban X. Urban X, where shop Urban X. Shout out to my brother Black Dot and Malcolm and the family, right? I am that I am. The I am. And this is high-level observations courtesy of your brother, Blue Pillar. And this segment is sponsored by here I am. I'm thinking of you. I'm taking some time out. You can reciprocate. You know what I'm saying? By throwing the God some change. I'm helping change your perspective. It should be worth something, right? The value should be worth something to be able to see this shit for exactly what it is. And then you could move through it. And hopefully you can use it. And not be used by it. But it's a wonderful story of redemption. You know what I'm saying? I think that if we can remove ourselves emotionally from how we feel about what another man is saying, and we can weigh the things that were said that we consider to be, weighted in truth. You feel me? Then those are the things that we get to focus on to say, all right, I would like to build and elaborate on that. I'm going to use that piece to teach with. You know what I'm saying? A teaching mechanism. How can I connect, with people that I need them to know the flip side of what this is rather than spookism or confusion. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at somebody conflicted, but here's the conflict. So we know what that shit represents. Look, the conflict, if you believe in white Christ, that's the company that you're going to keep. The shit with the wife and all of that other shit that he keeps saying, all of that shit deals with that conflict. And then you was masterfully marketed to as a child here in America, and they sold you Americana. They sold you Americanism, which is the biggest religion here on this planet. And the beauty standard that they gave you was a white woman, and you got introduced to sexuality through porn, right? So those are his templates, his heroes. That's his fetish. That's who he sees when he closes his eyes. He said what? His one prayer, give me a supermodel, right? He's fixated into that. He's fixated. They got him, you could tell by way of the fashion. They got him so much that he's willing to crack his own foundation and stance and fall on his sword rather than say, yeah, man, I made a mistake with Balenciaga. All of a sudden, it's like it's a free-for-all. Sinner is a sinner is a sinner. You had your children around and people, family. You introduced the world. You opened the door to devils, right? And if you didn't know it, and if it was an eye-opening experience, you should use it as a teaching moment. But if you knew that, once again, I understand that you are, a contradiction. So I chalk it up to that. Like, here goes the perfect example. This nigga is Geminian right now. Right? As a Scorpio, we could do that as observers. Detach yourself from it. Look at it. Make sense of it. Right? And keep it moving. Just observe it for what it is. There was a lot of gems that was dropped. There was a lot that he shared. You feel me? There's a lot that we can, potentially, again, use as teaching moments if you so chose to teach, And that's it. Yeah. Understand that branding is deep. Brand allegiance, people have, because we are, unfortunately, a people who are dealing with identity issues, right? An identity issue leaves a void. That void can be filled by a brand. So the identity is not only an issue because you have been divorced or detached from it or removed from it, but you've been given another identity, which within itself is a brand. So that brand is the brand of black. Black is a brand. It's Black Ink, right? It's a brand. It's a global brand. Nigga, when you come here, you leave everything else at the porch. They expect you to just come into Black Ink. Oh, you Haitian with a, oh, you Jamaican. Oh, you from Tanzania. Oh, you came, oh, not all y'all niggas is black. Blackity black, 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 black. And it's black. It ain't got no bottom to it. It's just black. It don't land on no land. It's just a void. And you just want people to tap in and just float in the void with you and just be unified in blackness. It's amorphous. It don't have a beginning point and end point. It's not tied to no land. It's scattered in history. It's threaded. It's a brand. But that brand, if it was a stock, it would be almost in the tank. It is brand damage as well. It's performed well. It has a good history. You know what I'm saying? And it has still a level of accreditation, but it got a lot of strikes on it too. And it's been impacted by, star performers that have been catching L's as of lately. So the brand is damaged. So people compensate with a damaged brand by now putting brand names on top of their frames. And then that now compensates for the pain of being tied to the stain of blackness. Hold on, man. Let me bring my guy in here, man. This dude right here. I've been missing this guy for a minute, man. Where he at? I've been missing my guy for a minute, man. Where my guy at, man? He been gone for a minute.
Hey, there them niggas go, talking all that smack. Talking all that smack about Ye, but motherfuckers is quiet. Quiet like a church mouse about Balenciaga. Quiet like a church mouse. You guys want to come out against anti-Semites and people that praise Hitler. Well, Hitler was a Satanist. So if you're mad at Hitler, then you should be against all things Satan. That's the ops. They waving their hand, they like this. And you don't want no smoke. Go sit down somewhere. Get your priorities together. Get your mind right. Stop following them goddamn sheep. Praise Hitler. Well, Hitler was...
Hitler was a Satanist. Right? Hitler was a Satanist, but the Pope still blessed the bombs that Mussolini sent to Ethiopia in the war. Remember that. The war still was ordained by the Pope and the church. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear with all of these wars. Let's be clear that the first war started with the Canterbury assassination with the Archbishop of Canterbury. That was World War I. All of this shit is tied to the church. It's always been tied to the church. Y'all fail to see or recognize what's going on, once again, because we're not being introduced to news in a holistic fashion and giving it to you in bits and pieces and fragments. That's why you're going to have to support what's coming forth, because of the work and the effort and the job and everything that's been going and put into it. You know what I'm saying? These are like encapsulating real time real predictions. We can't undermine these shits because you know, I hate to be like, yo, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. But incident after incident after incident after incident, they all fit within the narrative that we've been telling you for forever and a day about how this shit plays out. Step by step, point by point. Beep, 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 beep. You feel me? So you need to honor that, at least to say, yo, if y'all is really about to bring it the way that it needs to be brung, so I can get everybody in my family sprung sitting in front of the tube, you know what I'm saying? You know, just enjoying all of the shows, the segments and the interludes. You know, y'all sitting up there in high definition doing interviews. Like, shit, how do I knock on the door and enter, dude? Like, I want to participate and take a seat at the table, man. Y'all ain't up here telling fables. You said that you was motherfucking ready, willing, and able to make it happen. You ain't sitting at the motherfucking table, what is it, capping, cutting cane like Abel. You bringing the motherfucking news to the cable. But this cable is electric. It's more like fiber optics. You know what I'm saying? We sitting here breaking down every motherfucking topic to the finest compound. We the best around to do it, coming out of the town, uptown, but I'm really from BK, where we say, baby, baby, spread love is the Brooklyn way. You understand? So, yeah, I've been waiting to bring back hip-hop news. And do it only like we do it. You know what I'm saying? Only the way that we can. Only the way that we can tell it. And sprinkle the prophecies in there. And you know, hopefully we can package and sell it. And sell it to the zealots. So they can spread it like it's relish. And we ain't just tell it. We ain't got to over embellish. Shit. We the shit, you can smell it. So, you know, I wanna see a newscast like that. I wanna see reporters going to freestyles like, yo, what happened on the news today? And you busted to a whole freestyle? I ain't telling y'all. I ain't giving you too much sauce, man. But understand that, you know, we over here having fun putting this thing together. If you don't see me on the gram for a minute, just know that I'm working on the master plan. You don't see me on the gram, know that I'm working on the master plan. And everything else is playing into my hand. You feel me? Because in my world, in this body, in this temple, I'm the man, right? As you should be in yours. And if you're a womb man out there, then be, you know, firm in your womb. You know, own that, stand on it, make it resonate, ringing like a bell so people can stop laying claim. What the hell? How the fuck? That's how far man has fell, that he want to get up and get on heels? For real? Niggas need to chill. Leave it up to Ma. She out here juggling, multitasking like she's Kali Ma. Huh. Fuck out of here. Yeah, so That's how we're gonna do it. That what needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? And we getting it done, and we having fun. And even in, the darkest of days, we still represent the sun because we the one, as you should be as well. What the hell? Right? But we taking it all the way to heaven, 7 heaven. 2023 is right around the corner. It's December 1st. The countdown has begun. You feel me? So get ready, strap in. If this is any indicator of how things are going to go, remember, we started October with Ye. We started November with Ye. We just started December with Ye. And we passed the Jason month. So now we in the, you feel me? Now you go into the death of winter, right? Winter's coming. So now we're going into what's called the cap, where Christ goes into the tomb. I keep telling you, if anything is to happen to Ye in the physical form, it happens between Sagittarius and Capricorn. Because this is when they lay the sun to rest. And the sun rests for 3 days and then is raised and resurrects. And those 3 days translate to 3 months, of which the acronyms are Cap, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Tantamount in the Bible, how they said he dies for 3 days and they roll a stone over. Tonight or tomorrow, they're introducing a narrative about a slave, right, named Peter, who emancipated himself and went back to find and save his family. And this is produced or directed by Antoine Fuqua, who is I would consider him a movie magician, a very integral part of the pantheon in the narrative as well. If you've been following the Law 44 through all of these years, you have heard me on many occasions make the breakdowns and the connections, right? That Antoine Fuqua has been responsible about in the culture, telling the narrative and telling the story. He has fulfilled another pillar prediction. He's the director of Training Day. He made Brooklyn's Finest, bunch of other joints. He's from Brooklyn. Yeah, so I ain't gonna keep you long. I think that we definitely had an opportunity to chop it up and lay out the chessboard. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see a lot of the chessboards. Yeah, black and white, everything, polarity, duality, chessboards. Twin pillars, red and blue, whole lot of masonry coming to you through the media. Just watch how it plays out in society. Nigga, I'm not making a open pledge or declaration. I told the world I'm 47 years old now. That's the number of initiation. It's the degrees that the Masonic square and compass is set to, because it's what the compass and the square is used for. It's used for measurement. Hence the fact that G is in the center. It represents geometry, and the G is the 7th letter. So we're going into 2023, into the year of initiation, right? You're going to see me making a lot of changes and demonstrations. Don't be alarmed. Just know that I'm on my 47. So, it's all alignment. We are the twin pillars. So the same way that Ye has to, demonstrate and portray so a mythos can operate and work directly through him, we are all tasked with different parts that we play in this script and this narrative. You know what I'm saying? Play your part, display your heart, lead with your heart. Don't put your heart in your sleeve, but lead with your heart. That's how a king leads. A king, a Leo, the motif is the heart. That's why they show Christ with the heart. You have to lead with your heart. And a leader is the servant of the people, he is the highest of servants. He doesn't have the most amount of servants. That's the lower aspect of the ego of the Leo. But the higher form, the Christ form, the Christ consciousness, with everyone who was on that journey is looking to attain to be Christ-like, right? With the Kabbalists, they said that where Martin Luther King got to in his life, that was the highest form of Kabbalah. That's going all the way up the tree. When you could turn your cheek and forgive all of your enemies, they say that that's the highest form. That's almost Buddha level, right? Everyone cannot attain that height or that level, but they recognized it in that man's demonstration. Now, these are the conversations that you have to read books about, because they have these conversations printed. These are not conversations they're having in public, but these are documented conversations. I seen it. I seen the little red book on Kabbalah where they spoke about it. Feel me? So that sacrifice, that thing that people find so uncomfortable that they can't find themselves doing, or they have something to say about, and they're being chastising about, then the Christ thing might not be for you. You know what I'm saying? Because those levels that it gets to, that height, you got to love everybody and everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. Everyone has to be, welcome into your house. You feel me? You got to be willing to hug and forgive your enemy and all of that. That's being Christ-like. Because the love is ultimate. It's 100%. It is what they call omnipotent and omnipresent. It has no distortions or the distinctions, right? You have to love it all. So if that's not something that you can see yourself doing, then, the plight of Christ, or the highest level of consciousness that one can attain in this existence, that you ain't the one. Neo, right? And it's not for me to tell you, as the oracle said, it's only for you to manifest and to stand on, and for you to know yourself. Hence the fact she pointed to, man, know thyself. Don't ask me that motherfucking question, right? Get out here and demonstrate. Show us what you got. And then what did Dr. B say on the program? When you get into Christ's spirit, when you get into the highest form of consciousness, when you get into Christ consciousness, then you can elevate, right? High tides lift all boats. So when your heart becomes open and you get into your Christ, then you can heal hundreds of thousands in your vicinity automatically from just being in your field. Your field is so pure that it's lifting everything up in its circumference, or tuning it to this frequency, because this is all just about vibration, oscillation of vibration. The shit to go like this. This is all this is about. Getting your shit to like this, where it's just powerful enough that you like, shoot. Show y'all how it looks energetically. Show you how it look. That zoop. It's just about frequency, tuning your frequency so you can catch that motherfucking current and that way and go. Yeah, like that. Man, yeah, like that. But with that said, I want to say peace, love, and light. Appreciate y'all. Thank you again. That's the Cash App. Blue Pillar 44. That's the website. Goldwater.com. Get you some gold, get you some silver, get you some sports moss, get you some smart moss, get you some pure moss. Get the goodies, right? Prioritize yourself and take care of your health and energize yourselves, because no one else is going to do it for you. Matter of fact, everyone is going to attempt to take it from you, okay? So you have to be what? The one responsible for your government. You have to govern your mentals, and your mentals automatically signals you to the fact that you're the one in charge of what? Maintaining the maintenance of this temple. and treating it like it's Solomon's temple itself. And the shit got golden pillars on it and motherfucking ivory floors, and the Ark of the Covenant is you know, in tuned within the fucking heart. Start treating yourself like that, seeing yourself like that, right? The cubits of man is 144 royal cubits, nigga. You the one that they used to get the prototype for the temple from, my guy. Trust and believe. You know what I'm saying? Ye are God.